Hello everyone. I have been busy making some journals, and I've also been making some masks, but I work on those for a while and then I work on these. I actually have gotten quite a few journals finished. I thought maybe I would divide this up into a few videos because I have these to show. So first I have these three, and my plan was to do these as being able to take a piece of paper and just basically fold it in half and make a cover to fit it. So that's what I did. So this is the cover on the first one. So I start with a collage sheet like this. So it's basically, my base is a piece of deli paper, and it's nice and thin but sturdy. And then I just get out a whole bunch of collage stuff and just start making a piece of it. So sometimes when I don't feel like doing anything else, that's what I do, is I make some of these sheets. Here's another one and another one. So then I can just cut these into any size I want and use this as my cover. And so here I just collaged on a butterfly and some leaves from a book, a stamp, did a little stitching. The backs are plain, no closure, but I went ahead and decorated the inside. I put fabric here. This is some really interesting fabric I got from Pam Barbie. Thank you, Pam. So I folded up the bottom of the file folder to make pockets. And in here we have a children's book print. Isn't that cute? I love that picture. And this is also one of my little art prints. I have a bunch of those. And so the first page of the signature is one of the Cavallini posters I have. This was the first one I got. It was the one with the dandelions on it. And it's really a nice, I love this print. It's really cool. So I made a pocket here and just tucked in a book page with a nice print on it. It's blank on the back, so it could be writing paper. And then some of my tea-stained paper with a little bit of ink mixed in. That's a fussy cut flower. And one of my clusters. And I got this cute children's book, and I used a lot of pages from this book in all of these journals because I really love the silhouettes. And here's some tea-stained deli paper. This is, I did embossing powder on this one. And then I just do I do a bunch of these on deli paper. And so that way when I want to use one, I can just tear it out and stick it on. And, you know, when you glue that thin paper like that on there, it just kind of disappears. So it makes a nice way to make embellishments. Okay, so Edith Holdner page. And another fussy cut flower. I think that's one of Tracy Fox. Yeah, Tracy Fox fussy cut flowers. This is avocado dyed paper. A page from a leaf book that was given to me by my friend Dawn at the farmer's market. She gave me this beautiful book, and it just has all these neat old pictures of trees in it. And this is a page from Garden Flowers in Color. And it's just a beautiful book if you like flowers. I have 2 copies of it, so because lots of times there's flowers on both sides, and if I want to cut one out, I never know which one I want to cut. Some tea-stained paper with a little stenciling. This is beet juice stained. And actually, I think this is onion skin dyed also. So, yeah, pink and yellow, so I use that in the stamp. A cluster with a little bit of fabric and some stitching on there. And a page from a fish book, which the fish book is beautiful because all of the illustrations, well, almost all of them, there are some actual photos in it, and they're black and white. but the color ones are all paintings, which I love. So this is some paper I dyed with that plum tea, which I thought would be purple, but it turned out blue. And when I was doing the paper that I colored with the bleeding tissue, I laid this piece that it was really wet, and I laid it on just one of my little portable work surfaces like this, and it had some ink on it already. I cover it with freezer paper, but it had ink on it already, so it kind of picked up that ink and made kind of an interesting pattern, which I like. Okay, so an insect book. This is a page I colored with the bleeding tissue. And a bird book. And so, yeah, I just made the center is a page with just some little pockets added on that I actually, this is just paper sack material, paper, and I did some stamping with acrylic paint with some of my foam stamps, and actually this was wrapping paper that I had made, and then wrapped a present for my sister in it, and she gave me back the paper afterwards, so thought I might as well use it again. So in here is a really old page, and I'm not sure exactly where this came from. It didn't come from a book. I don't know where I got that. And then a little page from one of those little ledgers that I got a couple of months ago. Seems like a couple years ago. And a photo, old photo, and a guest check, which I tea stained. This was tea stain mixed in, and I added a little beet cooking water to it too, so to add kind of a two-tone effect, which I like. Some birds, fussy cut flower, more insects. This was a stamp. I stamped it on some ledger paper and then just cut it out. I kind of like how it looks like a label. Some fish stamps to go with the fish. Sticker. And that's a stamp. Avocado dyed paper. That's a postage stamp. So here I put in some stencils with my tea stained paper when I was doing it to kind of make the pattern on there, and that piece came out really nice. That was a stamp I did on deli paper and then embossed it. And in the back pocket, an old birthday card. I like this one because it actually folds out like this, and then it folds out. I guess that's it. Oh, and then you can just fold this out. So you could write something in there. So it's kind of like a card inside of a card. They don't make cards like that anymore. And there's the rest of the Cavallini poster. So that's the first one. So I'll go through the next one faster. This one is actually, I'm calling it would be suitable for a man. So it's kind of a man's journal. A photo. This is actually a postcard. It's the original. It's not a copy. And then I put a cluster here just to add a little extra decoration. The back has, oh yeah, so it has a pocket here. I forgot. I put a pocket on this one, which is kind of nice. I don't have anything in there though. And some fabric I got from my sister. I thought that would be a nice manly looking design. This is some handmade paper I ordered from Dick Blick. It's actually, they messed up my order and I ended up getting a free sheet, which was nice. So another postcard. These are welcome travelers on the air from coast to coast. So it must have been some kind of radio show. It's a postcard from Chicago. And some more tea-stained paper that I used I put some netting like that comes around, you know, those, they use it for avocados or oranges or apples. I lots of times will save that stuff and use it for different things. And here I just used it to make a design, which worked out really well. Page from a tree book. Tea stained paper. Another embossed stamp that I glued down. It's the plum tea, cinnamon plum tea. This was some tea stained paper. I did some stenciling on there with some inks, spray inks. And some fussy cut birds. And so that was something I stamped on that old ledger paper and then cut it out. So it makes kind of a neat label. So that's onion skin dye, and this is avocado. More pages, another page from the fish book. I like how this page came out with the color and the way the tea looks. These almost look like flowers up here. Some stenciling on that. That's done with the onion skin. This is just some parchment paper. And I think this is, I don't know if I dyed this paper or if that's just blue paper. I can't tell. That's onion skin dyed, tea stained, avocado. Page from an old atlas, and I made that into the center into a pocket, so it's got a whiskey label and an art print. I tried to pick things that, you know, would be more appealing to a guy, so this is actually a Christmas card and just a piece of old book page. This is a page from Robin Hood. And just a little tuck spot with this tiny envelope and a little picture stitched onto a tag. Some washi tape and a piece of little square of muslin that I stamped a bird on. And I stamped also on this tea stained muslin a teacup. So we have here a receipt for a package and a postcard from Versailles in France. Yeah, that's plum tea on that one. That's parchment, onion skin, some stenciling there. Oh, I love that. Some more fish, a stamp, a die cut, some fussy cut birds, stenciling, tea stained paper. Yeah, I don't know how this ended up so watery looking, but I don't know if you could see the texture on there. So I think what I was doing was tea staining paper, but then adding some beet cooking water to it too, to get that extra color in there. I got some interesting results. I had a stamp that looked about almost exactly like this flower. But that was kind of cool. And in the back, this was given to me by my friend Dawn. She gave me a whole bunch of postage stamps and a couple of these really old letters. That's kind of just embossed on the envelope. And inside is actually a letter. Oh, that's right. I took the letter out and I put some paper in, just some writing paper. Some tea-stained onion skin paper with a little stamping on it. this envelope actually was, I did not tea stain it. That's the way it looked. Love the color of it. That's old. Okay, so there's the second one. And here's the last one. Same kind of cover, but I didn't put a back on it. I think I just did the back on this one. And on the inside, it also has fabric. This is some old upholstery fabric that I have. I have quite a collection of vintage fabrics, which I actually was tempted to use some of them when I started making masks, but I managed to find enough material without getting into it. Okay, so part of a Cavallini poster here. And in the pocket, once again, a print from this garden book I have. It's blank on the back, so that could be written on. And some more of that combination tea and beet stained paper. Garden flower book. So these are pretty similar. That's onion skin dye. I used pretty much the same things in each one. Just kind of arranged them a little different. See, I like just adding a little color sometimes. I think I just was like, had a little spray bottle and I was doing tea stain and then adding just a little bit of blue here and there. That's avocado dyed. Some more fish. Plum tea. That's one of those things I stamped on paper and then just glued down. Has embossing. There's that tree book again. And a fussy cut plant, which kind of went with it. So this was dyed with bleeding tissue. Another one dyed with bleeding tissue. Got some really pretty papers using that technique, which I did a video on that if you want to look at it. I've talked to some other people who've tried it and they had some fun with it too. So in the center, another page with pockets. This is actually an original picture. I like these girls. Looks like they're ready to have some summer fun. And I think this is the letter that came from that other envelope, which was in the last one. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, and it's dated July 8th, 1908. So it's kind of interesting to have a letter that is over 100 years old. And, oh, is there anything on this side? Yep. This was actually part of the correspondence. These two are connected. I think she was applying for something like a job or something, and this was the reply she got. So kind of interesting. Avocado dyed. There's another page from that neat book with the silhouettes in it. A shark. So just has, it almost looks like, you know, sky or like a landscape or something. I like that paper. That's onion skin dye. That's how you get that color, which is really more orange than tea stain and not as pink as avocado dye. Sort of something different. And in the pocket, we have this bird postcard from, I think it's from a museum. I'm not sure. And here's the back. So that's the first three. So I'm going to do another video with a couple more.